Hello, my name is Liz, and welcome to the Tiny Treatery. It's September, which means it should be time for the dessert of the month, but it's not, because I'm still in Ohio and I don't know my calendar, so I'm just doing something else. So, welcome to the kitchen. No transition, we're starting right away. As you can tell by the title, First of all, if you think my apartment is echoey, then oh my god, I am so sorry. Because my house is 1,000 times worse. So I'll do what I can in the audio, but it probably won't be much. And I am just really sorry for that ahead of time. But we have a very quick and easy recipe, and then we're gonna do sleepover with Liz time and do Buzzfeed quizzes. And I could probably move into my room for that, which I think will be a lot less echoey than this outer room. So here's the recipe. And I'm just doing a regular yield because it's a mug cake. It already is one serving. So the recipe consists of butter, milk, vanilla, an egg yolk, sugar, flour, baking powder, and optional sprinkles, which I don't have, so I'm not going to be using. And there's also a little recipe for how you can make a tiny little bit of frosting. The link for the recipe will be in the description as always, but I'm also not making the frosting because I'm lazy. Normally, first things first, let's get measuring. But the nature of this mug cake is that you mix the ingredients into the mug and then it's ready to make. So it's kind of a merged, woven process, so I won't be doing that. So the actual first thing first is to get a mug. I have this beautiful little Starbucks Alabama themed mug because that's where I went to my undergrad, and gaze upon our magnificent collection of mugs. If I wanted to be decadent, I might double the recipe and make it in this enormous hot chocolate mug, but that's crazy, I'm not doing that. So I have some 2-angle camera action going on here because we have upped our production at Tiny Treatery. Sort of. The first thing is 2 tablespoons of butter. Put that in your mug and then melt it in the microwave for about 20 to 30 seconds, just whatever you need to get it all the way melted. The next thing, tablespoon of milk. Ooh, it popped. Got on the ceiling. It's not even melted. You can't really tell due to the darkness of the camera, but I promise it's melted. So next, a tablespoon of milk, half teaspoon of vanilla, egg yolk, ooh, oh no! It broke. Can I salvage it? Oh God. One egg yolk. Oh God, this one broke too. Whatever, it's going in. I don't care. I hate to disappoint the fans, but as far as this goes, I'm gonna put it in the fridge and eat it for breakfast because it's midnight and I don't want an egg right now. And I know that's like sacrilege to the egg segment, but you know, I'm making an executive decision and that's what I'm deciding. 2 tablespoons of sugar into the mug. And now, you mix it up. Why is it so dark? I'm so sorry. And then 4 tablespoons of flour, also known as 1/4 of a cup, into the mug. Half a teaspoon of baking powder. And mix. Maybe I should bring us over into the light. Okay, that's what it looks like. So then you microwave it. And this is very important. At 50% power, 60 to 90 seconds. So I'm gonna go right in the middle and go for 75. And it says the top should look set when it's done. I'm not gonna lick the spoon because I'm afraid of raw flour and raw eggs, because there is a small chance of bacteria in both of those items. But if you wanna live on the edge, I'm not recommending it because then I could probably get in trouble or something, but if you were to live on the edge, that would be how you would do it. But I'm gonna watch this while that microwaves. I think it needs a little more. So I'm gonna do like 8 more seconds at 50% power. And here's what it looks like. This is the finished product. It doesn't look particularly appetizing as far as a cake goes, but I have had a mug cake like this before. I used this exact recipe and it was the best mug cake I've ever had in terms of like texture and quality, and I think it's the egg yolk that makes the difference. Most mug cakes, I think, don't include an egg because, you know, you don't want to put the whole egg in because that's crazy, and then you're only using part of an egg, and that's a hassle, and it's just easier to not use an egg, but it makes a huge difference because it doesn't turn out like rubbery and weird like other mug cakes I've had. I really genuinely stand behind this recipe, and it is linked below, but credit to Fiona at Just So Tasty because that's where I got it from. So it says to let it cool for a minute before eating, which means I'm gonna move locations and we will get to the sleepover portion of this video, and I'll probably go in my room because it's not as echoey. And per the request I received on the last sleepover style video I did, shown here, I'm gonna do some BuzzFeed quizzes, and I'm gonna do BuzzFeed quizzes about baking because it's on brand. So I will also link all of those in the description. So get yourself a mug cake or get yourself a snack, and you can also play along with the quizzes with me, and it'll be like we're having a sleepover together. So see you in my room momentarily. Okay, so the unfortunate thing about my room is that, well, I think the echo is less. It's really, really dark in here. I've turned the flash on, so that's kind of like hurting my eyes, but I'll do anything for the content. Oh my God, I really can't like see. Sorry, I'm turning the flash off. I just can't see. And you know, it's bad for my eyes, so you're just gonna have to get over it. So first, let's try a bite of the mug cake. By the way, there's a rule that I'm not supposed to eat in my room, so don't tell my mom, but just for the sleepover, I'm gonna do it. I'm sure you can't see this very well, but it looks like a cake. Huh. So, you know, it's not perfectly amazing like an oven-baked cake, but as far as a mug cake goes, I think it's pretty freaking good. So the first quiz I'll be taking is if you can reach level 30 in this never-ending baking quiz, okay, better not be never-ending, you should probably be a pastry chef. So I'm going to be testing my knowledge, and you can test your knowledge along with me because it's linked in the description. Already off to a rough start here. What is the raising agent in a genoise sponge? I'm going to guess air because it just seems like maybe it would be whipped egg whites. I mean, I really have nothing to go off here. I've never had this and I've never made it. Yes! What kind of bread is a tortilla? Unleavened, I would assume, because it's flat. Yes. What's the main ingredient in meringues? Egg whites. I know that one. What kind of dough is typically used to make croissants? Oh God, crusty? So true. Oh, I don't know what short crust is, but I'm gonna try and guess laminated. How do you temper chocolate? By placing it in the fridge, by mixing it with cream, or by controlling its temperature so that it cools smoothly? That answer is weirdly specific and more realistic than the others, doesn't it seem? I mean, I already knew it was something like that, but it just stands out as being too specific to be wrong. You know, if we're gonna play that game, if we're gonna try and use like the standardized test-taking knowledge that we all learned in school, like this answer, it just, why would this be there if it wasn't right? Wait, what did I do wrong? Why did it turn blue though? Ugh, gotta do this again. Hold on. Why is it blue and the others are green? Does that mean I got it wrong? I think it's just no, because it wouldn't let me continue if I like failed the level. Okay, we're good. It's just a coding error. How do you prove bread? Oh, when do you prove bread? I was like, none of these answers are right. When you slice it, after you add yeast to it, when you butter it. After you add yeast to it, obviously. Which of these ingredients is most likely to seize? Chocolate. I already know that. Milk, icing sugar, chocolate. Gotta eat my cake too, that's part of the sleepover. And if I don't, we'll just be sitting here forever, because, you know, once I'm done with this, the sleepover's over. Oh my God, I don't know this one. Which of these pastry doughs require cooking with a pan? So, phyllo pastry, puff pastry, choux pastry. I might be saying those wrong. I don't know, but I'm gonna go with the first one because I've never heard of it, and I've never heard of cooking dough with a pan. No, I'm not a pastry chef. It's choux pastry. I know it's cheating, but I'm gonna try again. And I won't do that, then I'll stop, I swear. Oh, it's gonna let me continue where I left off. I love technology. Which of these foods traditionally does not require eggs? Oh my God, I gotta go to culinary school. I know it's not custard, because that has yolks in it. I don't really know what quiche is. Shortbread? Yes. What category does sugar often technically fall under when you're creaming it for a cake? Wet ingredient. Isn't that so weird? I think about this all the time, and I'm so glad they're asking me this so I can show off my knowledge. Yeah, because when you're creaming the butter with the sugar, and then you add the egg and the vanilla, and like maybe some oil or whatever, the sugar goes in there, but then you mix in the dry ingredients, and I'm always like, but sugar is a dry ingredient, but it's not. At least not according to the butter creaming method. Yes. How would you stop dried fruit sinking to the bottom of your bakes? Rolling the dried fruit in flour, whisking the dried fruit with eggs, heating the dried fruit. Okay, I don't know why heating it would help, and I don't know why drying it in flour would help, or rolling it in flour would help. Also, not really sure why whisking it with eggs would help, but I'm gonna go with that because maybe if you whisk it with the eggs, you're gonna create air bubbles around it, and then those air bubbles will like expand and hold it up in the oven. If I'm right, I'm a genius, and if I'm wrong, I'm making up physics on the spot. No! Rolling it in flour. Honestly, I think this is a myth. I feel like I've heard about this before. What is the reason for this? The light flour coating helps the fruit stick to the cake mixture better. I swear one time I read that if you don't want your chocolate chips to sink to the bottom of like a cake or something, then you just need to like put them at the top so that when they start sinking, they don't sink as far. Because it's like unavoidable that they're gonna sink. Is it different when it's fruit? I swear this isn't real. Okay, see, I remembered this from like my very, very early days of baking because one of the first things I ever made was a cake where I put chocolate chips in it and they all sunk to the bottom, and I have a picture of it here. And that was a boxed cake that I dyed, and I tried to decorate like a watermelon, and it just looks like a blob of grass, but besides the point. And I Googled it, and this article on bakerbreak.com, linked in the description, says the reason that chocolate chips or other add-ins sink is obviously because of gravity. How to keep chocolate chips from sinking. Tossing the chocolate chips in some flour or cocoa powder from the recipe will help some, but only if you're trying to overcome a little bit of sinking. Don't expect a dramatic difference with this method. Another choice is to use smaller chocolate chips, because if they're minier, they won't sink as much because it won't be as heavy. And then she says, I also sometimes sprinkle some reserve chocolate chips on top of whatever I'm baking before it goes in the oven. These chips aren't mixed into the batter, so starting out on top of the batter means they won't sink as far once it starts baking. So, the thing I made up about the eggs obviously makes no sense, and I pulled that out of my butt, but I did not make this thing up about the fact that using the flour is not gonna like perfectly solve this problem. So I guess it's a thing that everybody says you can do, and even she mentions it, but I had reason to distrust that answer. Let me try one more time, then I swear I'll stop. What is an enriched dough? Dough with milk, butter, or eggs added to it? Yes. How would you overwork short crust pastry? Short crust pastry. By cooking it for too long, by rolling it too thin, by handling the flour and butter too much. I'm gonna say handling the flour and butter too much, because probably this feels like some pie crust energy where the butter melts too much and then it gets hard. Which of these will help to prevent soggy bottoms in pies? Blind baking. Yes. I guess because you bake the crust and it's partially baked and then you put the soggy fruit thing in it and you're not putting it in like a raw dough that would seep it up. That's my best guess. Why would you add water to your oven when you're baking bread? To keep moisture in there? To shape the loaf? To steam? The steam improves the crust? To sweeten the bread? I'm gonna go with the steam improves the crust. Yes. Which of these ingredients would you most often use in the rub-in method? Butter and flour? Sick. Why would you glaze dough before you put it in the oven? To change the texture and flavor of the crust, to make it rise, to stop sticking to the tray. To change the texture and flavor? Yay! What pastry would you typically use to create a traditional pork pie? This looks disgusting, and if I get this wrong, I'm not going to be upset about it, and I'm going to move on. Honestly, I'm going to pick hot watercress pastry just because it sounds like the perfectly nastiest thing to go with whatever this is. Oh, I kind of wanted to be wrong, just so I could like go out on a high note of not knowing anything about this pork crust thing. Which of these should you be happy to see on a French macaron? A foot! Yes, that's what that's called, the little thing on the bottom. What about on loaf of bread? Oh no. A foot, an ear, a nose. A nose? Oh well, I don't care. I've done enough of this quiz. So the next one is, I think it'll be a little easier for me. This cake baking quiz ends the second you get a question wrong. Can you pass? So we're just baking a cake, and I think I am more prepared for this than I am with all these French patisserie questions. Don't forget to eat your snack while you're taking this quiz with me, and hydrate. Let's start by preheating the oven. What temperature are you setting it to? 350 Fahrenheit, baby. Great. Next, you're going to cream the butter. You add 1 stick of butter and what else to a large bowl? Sugar, obviously. Nice job. You've whipped the butter mixture to a fluffy consistency. Next, you add in a dash of vanilla and what else? Eggs. Uh-oh. You forgot to buy eggs at the store. What can you substitute in the cake instead? Mayonnaise. I'm going to throw up, but it's true. Now it's time for the dry ingredients. You're gonna add in all the following except flour, baking soda, baking powder, sugar. We already did sugar, but why would I don't necessarily need the baking soda. Is mayonnaise acidic? If mayonnaise is acidic, then that makes sense at this point. You only need baking soda if you already have an acidic ingredient in the batter. I don't know if mayonnaise is acidic, but the baking soda won't do anything without anything acidic. But we already added sugar, so I feel like I'm just gonna click sugar, because in some cases, you do wanna put baking soda in, depending on if you're gonna put vinegar in later, like if it's a red velvet cake, whatever. So just say sugar. Don't forget to add some salt to your batter. How much are you adding in? Oh God, I don't know. I don't do this well. I mean, I'm between a teaspoon and half a teaspoon, okay? 1/4 of a cup is insane. 2 tablespoons is insane. A teaspoon? I mean, how big is this cake? I don't know. I bake too small to know the answer to this. I'll say half a teaspoon. Yay! Now that your butter and dry mixtures are ready, what's the secret ingredient you need to make sure your cake is perfect? Oh my God, this is gross. Vinegar, I did mention the vinegar for the red velvet, but you only put like a tiny amount. It's like negligible. Cream cheese, ew. Sour cream, I think people do that, and it supposedly does make it more moist. But buttermilk, that's also in some recipes I've seen, and I think sour cream is gross, so I'm gonna put buttermilk just on principle. How do you combine the 3 parts of your batter? Butter mixture, flour mixture, and buttermilk. Throw them in a bowl and mix them together. No. Combine the buttermilk and flour mixture, then add it to the butter mixture and combine. No. Add the flour mixture and buttermilk to the butter in layers, mixing after each one. Yes, that's the answer. Pour them in a pan separately. I only know that because the red velvet cakes call for that. So if I was not obsessed with red velvet, I would not have probably known the answer to that. Great, your cake batter's all done. Are you ready to put it straight in the pan? No, we have to grease the pan. If this was real life, I probably would make that mistake half the time, but this question is suspicious, you know? Why would they be asking me this if there wasn't another step? You've got to grease the pan first. Now, your cake is ready to go in the oven. About how long are you baking it for? 15 minutes. Too short. Why did I say that? I was almost done. Your cake is raw, please don't eat it. I can't believe I got out at the end like that. Wasn't thinking right, wasn't thinking straight. Let me try again. I gotta start over? This sucks. Hold on. The other one was coated better. Oh, so there's more questions. I'm really embarrassed. I should have gotten that right. That was ridiculous. My excuse is that the last thing I baked was cookies, and cookies bake for about, 8 to 10, 11 to 12 minutes, so that's the mindset I was in, but that was dumb. I should not have gotten that wrong. All right, it's been half an hour. How do you know your cake is completely done? I poke a toothpick in the middle and it comes out clean. It's time to make the frosting. You need all these ingredients except oil. So I need powdered sugar, butter, and milk. What flavoring are you adding to your frosting? I feel like any of these could be correct. Vanilla, pureed strawberries, cocoa powder, or lemon zest. I'm kind of tempted to click something else, but I'm just going to say vanilla because that's what I do. Yum, that sounds delicious. How long will you wait before you frosting your cake? IDK, however long it takes to cool completely. What's the best way to smoothly and fully frost your cake? Scoop the frosting over the top of the cake and leave it like that. Use a spatula to spread the frosting evenly over the cake. Put the cake in the frosting bowl to ensure it's evenly covered. Eat the frosting cake separately with a fork. Honestly, pog. I like that answer, but I know it's the spatula answer. Last step before your feast. How are you decorating it? I'm a sprinkle stand. Wait, piped buttercream and icing? I like both, but I'm gonna go with the piping just because it's fancy. Yay! Okay, I cheated, but it's fine. I have one more quiz, but if the video is too long, I'm not gonna do it. But I will link it in the description if you just want to do it for fun. So this is like a fun one. This baking quiz will reveal one of your darkest qualities. So first, bake some bread. Sourdough, banana bread, brioche, honey wheat, zucchini bread, or focaccia. Okay, I've never really been much of a bread baker, and by that I mean I've never done it. Well, I make like hamburger buns one time, but that doesn't really count because it didn't really work. I guess I'll just go based on what I would want to eat the most, and I guess I'll say brioche. Bake some pastries. Chocolate croissants, blueberry scones, cheese and cherry danishes, gourmet donuts, baklava, or cinnamon rolls. Okay, I was first gonna say chocolate croissants, but then I was like gourmet donuts, but then I was like cinnamon rolls. Blueberry scones, I don't really care about that. Cheese and cherry danishes, that sounds disgusting to me. We all know how I feel about cheesy dairy desserts. Baklava has like pistachios or nuts in it, so that's like off limits. Cinnamon rolls, love cinnamon rolls. Bake a cake. I don't even need to read all these. Everybody knows the answer. Do you know the answer for me? What is it? Red velvet. Chocolate lava cake's really good though, but that's not what I'm gonna pick. Bake a pie. Okay, I've only had a pie one time, and it was the time I made a mini pumpkin pie for the channel. So I think I'm kind of obligated to pick that. Bake some cookies. Chocolate chip, peanut butter, oatmeal raisin. I do not like those. I made them, actually, no. I was gonna say I made them once with somebody, but it was oatmeal chocolate chip because there's no way I would entertain the concept of a raisin cookie. And then snickerdoodle, ginger snap, shortbread. Snickerdoodle, I love snickerdoodles. Make a savory dish, pot pie, no. Scalloped potatoes, lasagna, beef Wellington, mac and cheese. I did do that recently. Or enchiladas. You know, I would have said lasagna a few months ago, but I might be a changed person. I might want to say mac and cheese. But lasagna has like other elements in it. It's like basically mac and cheese, but with meat and sauce. Okay, lasagna, I sold myself. Bake one more thing just because. Brownies, macarons, peach cobbler, creme brulee, muffins, or pizza. Okay, this is mean. I'm one of those people who's like annoying and like pizza is like one of my personality traits. Like not like really, I don't like talk about it all the time, but it is a genuine fact that pizza is like an embarrassingly large portion of my diet. So, I mean, I'm looking at that and I'm the most tempted by it because even though I have a baking channel, I really don't have that much of a sweet tooth, but I have a huge pizza tooth, like really, truly. So this looks the most appealing out of everything, but as a baker, I would rather make the brownies. So that's what I'm gonna go with. Okay, so my darkest quality is that I'm sometimes really, really insecure. You're pretty confident, but honestly, I think that's not necessarily true, but we'll keep reading. But there are moments when insecurity creeps in and it really sinks its teeth into you. You'll worry that you aren't good enough and begin to doubt all of your abilities. It sucks when this happens, but remember that it also happens to pretty much everyone. We're all a little bit insecure, even if we refuse to admit it. What would happen if I picked pizza? All right, let me start over. Okay, I got the same answer, so it didn't matter. I wasted time on that question for nothing. Is that the only answer that you can get? I'm just gonna click something random. You can be very self-absorbed at times. Well, I'm glad I didn't get that one because I think it's a slightly meaner answer. Okay, well my cake is almost done. It's a little unbaked at the bottom, so I probably could have put it in for more time. Is that a spider? No, it's just hair. Okay, so thanks for joining the sleepover. It's bedtime now. It's 1:20 in the morning. I hope you enjoy the sleepover and let me know how you feel about the sleepover segments because I really like doing them. They are a little easier for me, so when I'm having a lazy week, it is nice to do them and it shows you a little more of my like shining personality. So yeah, definitely if you're craving a mug cake, try this recipe because I think it is very good. And thanks for watching and subscribe for more baking adventures.